beautiful people. Is it Friday yet? It's actually not. It's only Thursday. I guess I'm just anxious for the weekend. Okay, our reading today starts with, I'm guessing it's a Bible quote because it has a semicolon between two numbers. And it's as simple as this from John 16:24. Ask and ye shall receive. Somewhere in our past life, we may have picked up the idea that it's not all right to ask for help, that asking for help would be a sign of weakness. Recovery calls for some basic changes in our thinking, and when we feel vulnerable is the best time to reach out and ask for help from our higher power, from our program, and from our friends in recovery. Bobby's going to add, even your normal people in life, you can ask for help. It's hard for us at first. We may be afraid of rejection or of being laughed at for not knowing all the answers. But once we've taken the risk and openly asked for help, we realize that our fears are part of the past and we can leave them behind us. In asking for help, we acknowledge that we can't do it all by ourselves. We surrender once again to powerlessness, and we give ourselves the joy and we give others the joy and satisfaction of helping us. Today, if I'm feeling I'm on a solo flight, help me to reach out and find support just by asking. I think we talked about this with the premise of other people being happy to help and that it's good for their, inner joy and their well-being. And I don't think that this message could be repeated enough. It's important to be able to ask for help. For one thing, we talked about being isolated, I think yesterday. Wow, the days are running together, guys. But we talk about isolation versus alone. Well, you don't have to be alone in your recovery. And even if it's not the normal people in your life, which I'm an advocate for because, and by normal, I don't mean as a quality, I mean not recovery, not higher power, not program people, but the people in your life. You need to have, if the people in your life aren't people that would help you if you ask, they probably shouldn't be the people in your life. And I'm going to continue to advocate for that. And I can do that because there's people that I want in my life that I love that can't be in my life because they're not good for me. So I'm not just saying this to say this. I'm not saying it because it's easy. I'm saying it that sometimes we have to make that decision. And if they're not helping, chances are they're hurting. That's not the message here. That's not the message of the reading, I don't think. The message of the reading is about opening ourselves up, raising our hand when we have a struggle. And this could be anything little or big. I mean, I live by myself. I had ordered something big and cumbersome to put together, a big dry erase board. And I had to ask for help putting it together, and it was like, I don't want to do that. When I rearranged my bedroom, I probably should have asked for help because the furniture was freaking heavy to move. So using that as an example, if I hurt my back and crippled myself forever, and of course I'm being extreme because I didn't ask for help putting together something or moving my furniture, what better place would my pride and my fear have done to put myself in that situation? It's the same with urges and cravings. It's the same with the issues that come up. I mean, there's challenges that come with giving up our life of hiding behind a bed because the smoke has to clear and we have to deal with the reality. And it's going to be things that chances are we were avoiding or running from because maybe we couldn't have handled them by ourselves in the first place. So instead of handling them, we run, make a bet, escape, not have to deal with them. And I'm here to tell you, those things don't go away. They're still there. So if we train ourselves and get acclimated to the idea that it's okay to help ourselves and ask for help from other people to help ourselves, our life will definitely take on a different trajectory. And I will say, people want to help. Like, it's a gift to them when you ask for it. And I'm not saying, and this is where I'm going to make this distinction too, because there's asking for help in a manipulative, addict kind of way, which might look something like, I can't pay my bills. Can you help me? I can't get to work. Can you drive me? And to respond to questions like that, I would not recommend asking for help. You know, you got to figure out your money stuff alone. Maybe there's help with getting education about handling your money, but you have to do that work yourself. Or getting a ride to work. If you're working, is there a bus route? Can you take an Uber? And I say this, and it must, you know, I can imagine this feeling. Well, I have to pay back my debt. Well, I can't spend money on an Uber. I don't have time to take a bus. Well, you know what? In those cases, you created this. You need to own it. It's not anybody else's problem. Like, when I say ask for help, I'm saying ask for help with the things that you can't solve yourself. And I don't think getting to work is something you can't solve yourself. And I get it. There might be extreme situations, or maybe it's not a big deal if someone lives on your block and you're carpooling or whatever. But don't be in that manipulative mentality when you are asking for help, because you know what happens then? You burn freaking bridges, and then nobody wants to help you when you actually are true to yourself and you're trying to do the right thing. And I'm not trying to be harsh here, but the addict thinking stays longer than our betting does. You know, we might quit betting, quit drinking, quit whatever, but we still are in that. And I shouldn't speak for everybody, I guess, but I can see being still in that it's all about me mode, not caring who we hurt mode, trying to solve our problems. And I've seen this with people, and I've probably done it. I just don't see it as reflective on myself because I'm not an outsider looking in. But as an outsider looking in on other addicts I've been exposed to, I've seen it. And I will help anybody who wants to help. But if you're just asking for help because it's easier, nah, that doesn't fly with me. And it goes back to my own personal boundaries and values, I guess, because I did the work myself. And it's not a comparison thing, but I think that's what is helping me evolve and grow. And that's what I want for everybody, is to find that evolution and find that peace. If you don't do the work, you're spinning. Even if you're not betting, even if you're going to GA meetings, even if you're preaching or teaching about recovery, but you're still counting on other people for things that you should work through, my observation is you're not growing as a person when you do those things. You're not really healing. You're not really addressing things. So I'm all for asking for help when it doesn't keep you in the same addict mode. I hope I'm explaining this distinction well enough. So let me think about asking for help in a way that would be beneficial to everybody. It might be having a bad day and having all kinds of thoughts of wanting to go place a bet. Asking for help might be jumping in a Gamblers Anonymous or a gambling recovery chat room on Facebook and saying, hey guys, I'm having a bad day. What do you do when you feel XYZ? That's asking for help. And then you're getting true experience, people that might have things that you never thought of. I'm blown away every day by the tools and tricks and thoughts and way people are living every day and how much other people have to offer, because my thinking is only my thinking and I only know what I know. So when we invite other people in, we also learn how to progress forward in life and how to solve some of those problems. I would advocate for asking for help, maybe getting to a meeting. I think if you couldn't take a bus or an Uber to get to a meeting, I think I would be okay with asking for a ride to a meeting, because you're not earning income to pay for that ride. Because that's kind of how I look at the math there. If the Uber cost me $10, but I was going in for a shift of 50, you're still ahead of the game, right? So getting past that fear of asking for help, it goes back to, first of all, where does that fear come from? Is it because you're going to feel shame and opening up? I would go back to the premise of those feelings not really serving us in that capacity. And if we are in the company of the right people, they're going to understand anyway. You may not be giving them enough credit, but they're going to understand, and they're going to know what the shame and the fear and all that stuff is. It continues to blow my mind, and it sounds like such an asshole statement, but people don't care about us as much as we think they care about us, in the sense that even if you approached a judgmental person, chances of them, first of all, judging you, but then, I don't know, whatever we're afraid of. Are we afraid they're going to tell people that we needed help? If they're judgmental and whatever, they're not going to talk about you needing their help. Like, they got their own ego and their own shit, and not for nothing, it wouldn't matter what they think anyway. But people just don't. I got really into this in my episode about transparency, because I think we think people give more care or concern to our shit than they really do. And I'm saying that in the shit. Just like if we celebrate our clean time generally as a community, Joe Blow isn't going to care that we have, X amount of time away from gambling or drinking. A normal person doesn't maybe get the value of that. I hate saying normal, but a person not in the community doesn't maybe see the value of that. Unless there's someone, really engaged, like my friends that aren't in recovery but have been on the journey with me, those people outside that I do ask for help for, and that are my friends and that do know my values are evolving and what they are today and what my efforts are, that love and support me, they absolutely will celebrate the victories. But it's the acquaintance kind of level people. First of all, you're probably not asking them for help, but second of all, if you're not that tight, they're not spending that energy. We're not going to be dinner conversation. Oh, Bobby called me today. She was depressed and having a bad day and wanted to bet, and she called me instead to go out on the boat or to go for a walk or just to talk. Nobody goes and says that. It just not happening. So I'm saying that there's not anything to be afraid of. There's no shame in asking for help. And the quote that it started off with, ask and you shall receive, as long as you're doing it from a place of good intention and, true effort. And you know what? I would fathom a guess that you're not going to know that distinction until after you do it with addict thinking a few times and people, tell you no, if it's something that is something you should be doing yourself. It's a really hard point to make clear is what I'm realizing as I talk. I hope that made some level of sense. The moral of the story that I want you to leave with is it's okay to ask for help. That's the moral of the story. If all that other stuff that I talked about happens or doesn't happen, It really doesn't matter. Taking the first step and asking for help and learning that it's okay to ask for help and that it's okay to receive that help. Because that's the other thing. If someone does give you help and you need it or whatever, you need to be open to receiving it. It doesn't work if you don't receive it. It creates a whole other barrel of feelings. So that's my 2 cents on that. And I'm going to tie it into my negative positive bucket that I'm talking about usually. So asking for help, if we're not asking for help, we're keeping whatever that crap is, whatever that problem is in our bucket, and then we don't have room for the good stuff. So asking for help is emptying our bucket with the help of someone else. Maybe they're helping you dump out the bad feelings. Maybe they're taking them and throwing them off the cliff for you, whatever. Maybe the experience turns into such healing and positive that you're filling your bucket with something amazing on the other side of that. So that's what you need to think about. It's okay to ask for help. People can be rewarded by helping you, spiritually, mentally, and it's just okay. I just need you to know it's just okay. All right, beautiful people, I will talk to you tonight. Thanks for being here.